Hello, everyone. Good day here from Apollo and from me. It's great to see you. This is going to be for the sign of Leo, and this is for the month of February 2020. I'm going to put this cute little guy down, but I always like to bring him up at the beginning to send some blessings and healings. He just woke up from a nap, so we'll let him get back to his dog sleeping. Really great to see everybody. And I thought we'd get started a couple minutes early because we've had a great lively chat just before the reading started. And I know a lot of you are really getting excited about the new format, me too. This is a great way to get any kind of quick questions answered at the beginning. I'm usually here and the moderators come in a few minutes before the reading. So if you have a couple of questions, you can stop there and say hi. But just to that end, I saw a few things that I wanted to talk about in the chat before we get started. The first is just how this works. I know a lot of readers on YouTube will take questions and answers and even use Super Chat to that end. This is not that style. I show up each and every month and give a really in-depth general overview for all signs. And one thing that I do like to do is interact a little bit with you with the help of my moderators. But once I get into the flow of the reading, it's very much going to be focused on that. I do a meditation, and at the very end, we can talk a little bit more after that if you have any high-level thoughts. But this is very much a gift from me to you. And I just want to go with the live format because it allows me to access my intuition a little bit better. And also the group energy helps all of us. And so I hope you're enjoying that. So let's get started here. As I was saying, I got a lot of information in the meditation, so much so that I kind of filled up a complete sheet of paper, and I'll talk about that in just a second. I'd like to welcome back all the familiar faces that I saw in chat here, and also give a special thanks to my moderators for helping out. So thank you, Ryan and Maria. Let me tell you how I organize each reading each month. I like to start off with channeled messages, and this is what I do. This is how I show up early. I'm usually here about an hour before the reading. I select the deck of cards that I'm going to use, and I start to meditate. And when that happens, I get a download of information, and I'll talk about that in just a minute or so. After that, we're going to look at the Celtic cross, and I also pull a really expanded forecast in addition to that, looking at health, wealth, love, and destiny. I always like to do something special every month for the live readings, and that usually involves a special sort of pull. Thank you, by the way, for the super chat. A special sort of pull that's going to be focused on one thing. And as we're looking at February, it's all around manifestation. I know a lot of you are looking for love, maybe looking for a new job. I saw someone here talking about just really trying to make this decade better than the last. I think that's a great thing to do. And what I'm going to try to help you with in the meditation is to look at past, present, and future influences that could either help or hinder in that sort of effort. And then we'll meditate together using the energy of the collective to really bolster us up. And many of you may know, if you have listened to me for the past 5 or 6 years, that at one point I thought I was going to be a yoga teacher. And I learned during that training the power of group meditation and the power of group sort of assembly. And that's why I'm starting to do the live videos as well, because all of us together are powerful and more powerful than just one of us trying to make a change. So I'm hoping to kind of really push out a spark of light into all of you. So let's get started now. I want to really talk about what I was saying. Oh, one last thing, by the way. Some of you have already started with the super chats, and I love that. If you like what you're seeing here, there's a little icon next to the smiley face, a little $sign. You can send a sticker or a high five or just say thank you anytime during the reading. And that goes directly back to me like that. Thank you so much. And it helps me buy the supplies. It also helps me just keep all my production equipment up to date. So thank you so much. And if you happen to watch this on the replay, you can use the patron link that is below the video or embedded, or that you see Ryan and Maria push out here. All right, let's get into the fun stuff. As I was meditating for your sign this month, so much came through, so much. I actually got up early this morning because it started in a dream, and then as I meditated, I kept seeing more and more and more. And the first thing that came to me was an image of a glass that I could just see someone holding in their hand, and it fell on the floor. So the sound kind of startled me, woke me up. And what I got from that symbolically was like a break or a breakthrough and a surprise, the element of surprise being a key component to that. So I kind of broke up the words breakthrough, because some of you may be looking for a break. You might be you might be in need of a break. And I think depending on where you're at in that process, just know that the energy is going to shift. And because I saw it happen fast and it startled me, I also think that there's an element of this that comes about in a way that you didn't expect, or the timing is unusual. So as best as you can this month, I think you really want to focus on expecting the unexpected. And also, maybe for those of you that are trying to use this element of surprise, like if you're in marketing or PR or trying to launch something, try to use that element of surprise to your advantage. If there's something that you can think of that people haven't done before, you can use that as a way to really make a difference and to really make an impact and get out there ahead of everyone else. And the other thing is that as I was meditating, I saw what would look like the Three of Cups. I saw a gathering of 2 or 3 people in another room. And I felt that part of this sort of breakthrough or surprise could be that there could be a surprise party announcement or something that you decide to go to and you meet a key connection through that party. So this, if we put it into tarot symbology, could almost be like a 3 of Cups and Ace of Cups that I was seeing. And the Ace of Cups, again, was that element of surprise and opportunity, but the cup would probably be crossing the 3 of Cups, so that you have to figure out how to get all of this together. And I don't remember who gave this quote, but I really like it. It's sort of like, luck isn't so much just random, right? I believe in synchronicities, which are when you're on that right path and something comes through because it needs to. It's a sign that you're actually evolving and moving towards your soul's paths. Or it could be like serendipitous, but I really believe more in synchronicities, which is it's a sign, keep going down that path. So I think for some of you, there is going to be this opportunity this month to get clarity that this is the right thing to do. Something comes along, and I want you to seize that opportunity because it doesn't happen all the time. And so if you feel like, you know, something is like, again, if it's a synchronicity, what I would say, I'm going to break it down for a second because it's a big word and I know it confuses us sometimes. So imagine that you've been working on a goal for like 10 years and all of a sudden you just have like a string of really good luck, right? You might have your boss pull you aside at work and say, we want you to go on this business trip. You might have a chance to meet some mentor that you've always looked up to. And it just seems like all these things are starting to fall into place. It's not an accident. It's actually because you've been doing the work. And this is the month where you want to move through that turnstile, and you're going to hopefully get a little bit of momentum and push from that as well. So I think that this breakthrough could really be a synchronicity for some of you, and that you want to say yes to public appearances or parties because they're going to help you connect with that right person or that right opportunity. So if you have a little bit of hermit energy, if you're not sure if you can get out there, definitely say yes and go with it. You may be surprised, but it may take you down a really fun path. So a little energy of the Fool as well. So that's what I was getting with the meditation, was an element of surprise, even though you might be working really hard, a feeling of elation, or at least that pressure or that curiosity of, will this happen? It breaks as well. And then the celebration that I saw could also be, thank goodness, because at least I know where I stand now, or I know that the work was worth it, or I know that now I want to do this. So whatever it is, I'm really excited at the breakthrough that many of you are going to have. And like I said, there's so much to look at. So I really feel like we need to get into the Celtic Cross now so I can help you navigate the ups, the downs, and all those other challenges. Thank you again for all of the super chats that I'm receiving. It means so much. I'm going to, again, call all of you out in a special paragraph once this goes live. So I appreciate that. Thank you. Okay, let me pull the camera down. At this point, I normally remain quiet. And after I've pulled out all of the cards, I will break down all the messages that I'm seeing. What a great card to start off with. Sorry, I'll break my own rule there and say I'm happy I see the Wheel of Fortune for you. All right. Thank you so much for being patient as I got all of the cards ready. There were some very animated cards that were kind of flipping out, which always shows me that we've got our guides with us and there's some great stuff coming through. I'd like to start off with the catalyst. And for me, the catalyst functions as a sort of connective thread. I always like to remind all of us that this is also a way to reach for something that will help you, or kind of like keep at arm's length anything that really isn't there for your benefit. So the card says totality. It was reversed, but I want to bring it close to the camera and just talk about what we're seeing here. You see a couple of acrobats, and what I think the key piece is that moment of trust when you have to know that that other person is there for you. We actually see three people very close to the Three of Cups, but it's that middle person that's trying to connect with the other one, that moment of reaching out that I think is really key for you. And for some of you, there's it's kind of like a trust fall, or this like leap of faith, whatever kind of terminology you want to take or use it with that. I think there's this moment where you're going to see someone for their true colors, or this reaching out could also be what we're seeing. Someone says, hey, I've got you, or come towards me. There's something really cool. And what you'll want to do is tune in and think, do I trust this person? Am I ready for this? Am I ready to make that connection happen? If you do, this is going to pull you into a different trajectory, a different direction, and your future or this next phase could very much be attached to that person. Now, I like what I'm seeing here. I mean, what I see is some skilled people going through the motions and doing something that they love. But there's always that moment when you know you want to do something that you think, can I, should I, will I? And I would say don't hesitate too much, because like that moment in time, you only have a few moments to really decide, should I do this? It's like a split second. You have to do this, obviously, if you're an acrobat and letting go and kind of going into this. So I would say trust yourself, trust your intuition, and take advantage of the momentum and the moment. And what I was saying, the phrase, which I got lost because I was in my own sort of looking at the meditation. What I was saying is luck is preparation and timing. So when the timing comes and you're prepared, this card helped me remember what I was going to say earlier. That's what this is. So just seize that opportunity. You prepared and the moment came. Now your luck is changing. And for that person in the chat earlier that was saying they're ready for a new decade to have a different sort of feeling, that's what you have to do. Make the decision in your head too and say, I'm ready now. It's not just like I want it to be. I was talking to someone who wanted to know more about manifestation. And I said that the difference between a New Year's resolution and really trying to manifest something is the verbiage and the feeling that I am. So if your goal is to change jobs, to change relationships, to change yourself, you're going to say, I am ready. I am doing this. I see it happen. It will happen. If you just are kind of playing around with something, you would say, I'm ready for, I would like, I'd love, or it would be nice for this to happen. There's not as much commitment to it. So commit full on, take that leap and see what comes your way, okay? Let's go to the center. I was so happy when I saw the Wheel of Fortune for you that I actually broke my rule and said something while I was shuffling. So this really does show a shift in direction, trajectory, and opportunity. Again, I had a good feeling when I saw the glass break. It reminds me of the tradition at weddings where you will break a glass for celebration, or sometimes people break things to just show they're happy. It's also a way to break a cycle or to break the old energy or connections. So I feel like you're letting go of something, you're breaking through something that has been a block, and now we see a really nice shift of opportunity. The Wheel of Fortune is money, it's energy, it can also be success. And of course, as we look at this, it can be a change of emotions. This was the second deck I purchased, but I actually learned with this when I was studying with my my teacher a long time ago. And I liked this card in particular because it was one of the few that showed the range of emotion and motion that you have to go through for something to come to a fruition or success. We look at, celebrities and successful individuals, and sometimes we think it happens overnight. The truth of the matter is that most of them work their butts off. And it's a lot of time, it's a lot of energy behind the scenes to make something magical happen. And this shows that for some of you, all of that hard work that you've done, or maybe the work that you're deciding to start on. Maybe you're going to go back to school or whatever. Don't let any of the sort of lower frequencies or other emotions get in the way. You've got to keep your mind and your eye on the top slice of this chart here, and things are going to be okay. And that's really what this card says, is you're on the right path. Take that leap. Don't worry so much. I think a lot of you are ready to recover, to bolster your energy, to get to new heights. The Seven of Pentacles for me is all about more than what you like, getting better. It's recovery. And for some of you, this can come through after a period of sickness or debt or not being able to make ends meet. But the card is focused not on the negative, it's actually focused on the positive. We see more growth happening than whatever happened in the past. So the main lesson here is to not worry so much about all the things that didn't happen. Because to my friend that I was talking about when we were discussing manifestation, I said our mind is like a satellite. So if we start to broadcast thoughts of success, of hope, of faith, then we attract and also receive situations, energies, and opportunities in that frequency. If we start to broadcast feelings that I can't, I won't, it doesn't, things like that, then you ironically or appropriately start to attract things that fulfill that feeling that I'm unlucky in love, I never get a break. That's not going to happen, by the way, because I saw that with breakthrough. Whatever it is that you're feeling like, I never, it doesn't, it won't. Stop that vernacular this month. Stop that stuff. Start to instead say, I'm ready for this. It is happening. I'm going to do this. Put it in the proactive, put it in the active, and also be positive. As we look at past influences, this is stuff that has held you back. We have the Two of Swords in reverse. So the Two of Swords, if I'm to pick any card that I'm not afraid of in the entire suit of swords, it's the Two of Swords. Because all that is a fear of action, of knowing, thank you so much, of being able to just sort of like move forward. So what we see here is the same as this totality card, which is it's time for me to move, but I don't know if I can. So this could be self-confidence. This could just be butterflies. This could just be an irrational fear. Let it go. And if you feel like you need to get a little bit more prepared, for me, oftentimes ignorance feeds into fear. So one way you can basically eviscerate fear is to just get educated and to talk to someone that you trust, and then get that feeling like it's just me that's holding me back. And I feel like that's what I see with the Two of Swords. Many of you will be faced with an offer or an opportunity this month, and it could come to you. A lot of times I will say, oh, you're going to have to go and move for that. I don't necessarily see that. I think that some of you have something that could just be around the periphery. You have to stay present. You have to stay open-minded to be able to see it. But when it's there, it's there. And that's that moment where you really have to utilize the timing and the fact that it's not going to stick around forever. And if you miss some of these connections, they don't always come back. So with this one, it feels like you have a lot to gain by taking a risk, by making a move. And I think it's good. So whether it's moving in with someone, changing jobs, or deciding to change path or trajectory in your life, this is the right time. This is the right month. And because many of you are watching this a little bit ahead of time, you're going to be prepared for this even more than if you were watching it after it happened. That's why I'm trying to do these readings about anywhere between 15 to 20 days early. Some of you, it's only 10, but you're getting it ahead of time. And that's a big change from the last 5 years where it was playing catch up. So this month in particular for you, that's going to be essential. The Empress card is in the reverse state in the crowning position. It still connotes very good things here. The connotation of the Empress typically is self-control, ownership, growth and fertility, and power, right? It's all of that. It's the divine feminine. But when it is in the reverse state, what can happen sometimes is if it's you that's the Empress, what you could be doing is giving away some of your power to others or spending it unnecessarily on things that maybe in the past were worth it, but they may not be giving you a return on your energy or your investment now. So I would say this month, be very discerning on how you decide to help people. For those of you that watch a lot, I will say with the Empress, it makes a lot of sense to let people come to you and ask for help. It lets them grow. It lets them step up. and it cuts the chains of codependency. So when we talked about breaking things, that could be one of the sort of cycles in your life that it's time to break. The other thing with the Empress reversed is if there's anyone in your life that comes in and makes you feel like you can't, it's time to tune them out, because that could be someone who isn't ready to let you succeed. It's kind of like they're holding you back a little bit. And when you cut that tie to them, you can achieve great heights. It reminds me of that, I can't remember who did the song, but like Such Great Heights. Wonderful, beautiful song. And I think that this is what I see for your sign this month, as a chance to really kind of like surprise yourself and also express a part of yourself that maybe you didn't know was there. So take your power. The Empress is the queen. This is your moment to shine. This is your moment to really be in control and enjoy it, okay? Now, everything is a trade-off, right? Like, to do one thing, you have to let something go, or you have to create some space. So I see for many of you, it's time to move on. This could involve a physical move. It could involve changing your mind, something that for some of you might be hard. This could also be, for many of you, needing to sort of commute a little bit, the 10 of Wands. With this, there is that feeling of elation, though, because this is an end of a cycle. This is going to give way to an ace into all the court cards, or a start of something new. So don't ever let the 9 or 10 of Wands or any of the suits make you feel like, I'm not sure if I can do it. You're already down the path. It's already happening. So the big thing for you is to stay present and to have faith that you're on that path, because even though it's happening, we still see that this person has a little bit of a road to go. They're very close to what they need, but sometimes that last mile, like if you're running or in some sort of competition, it's the last mile that can be the toughest, because your body starts to give out, your mind starts to play tricks on you. And so I want you to stay strong and be strong, and allow for your vision, which we talked about earlier, of what you need, what you want, that top slice of the pie here, to really be your focal point. Don't let the other stuff get in the way. So yeah, a big part of this is moving up, moving on, moving away, movement. That's one of the key components this month. And for some of you, that can be a little bit frightening, right? Because change, it's tough. This apartment that I'm in right now, I'm starting like my second year or whatever. A couple years ago I moved, but I remember how tough it was to just move physically, maybe even 10 miles. It wasn't a lot that I did, or for me, it was actually just a couple miles. But it's the process of packing things up, unpacking them, and all of that. I do remember it's not fun, but I will say that it brought about fantastic changes. Because when you change your physical space and when you revisit all of the energy around you, you have a chance to rebuild and reimagine. So anytime we change jobs, we change apartments, we change the furniture, it actually changes us on some levels too. Okay. So one of the things I always get asked about in these monthlies is, what about love? When I see love, I mention it. And there's a chance this month for a new relationship for you, because in the ego, we have the Lovers. And with the Lovers, there's a couple of things that I want to say. The first thing is, of course, you just have a very attractive energy. To me, this is one of the biggest magnet cards that you can get. The Star would be another one. The World is also great, but that's actually more about being able to reach people. With this one, it's magnetic. And so let's just kind of go through all the different relationship states you could have. If you're in a relationship, this portends really good things, especially since we had the Wheel of Fortune and the 10 of Wands. This is about getting serious. This could be about tying the knot, or deciding to start a family, since we had the Empress card. Good things for relationships. You can overcome anything. You can also help each other through something challenging. So if one of your partners is dealing with debt or addiction or something that's tough to work through, the other partner has their back. I really feel some great synchronicities and opportunities that will open up within this. And I would also say just a chance to balance things out. So you'll be happily surprised by some of the movement within relationships if you're in one already. The main thing here is to look at your partner with love, with high regard. And we see like the divine light, and then we see the sun and the moon, that nice yin yang balance. So balance out one another this month. It's a chance to have each other's backs. If you are single and looking, it's very interesting that this is attached to a card that I would normally associate with work, 3 of Pentacles. So you might meet someone through a work engagement. It could also be through the work that you're doing. The 3 of Pentacles is also a writing card. So for those of you that are writers, reporters, public speakers, politicians, somehow getting out there and using Not so much celebrities. I think this is more a card of trying to make change in the world through kind of like your communication skills. You have a point of view and you want to share it. It's the point of view and it's the work that you do. It could also be, for some of you, an artist card. So if you create beautiful buildings or works of art, that expression of your higher self is what's going to attract the partner. It's not showing up on Tinder or OkCupid or any of that. You may have someone reach out to you. This is a card of written correspondence, but it's more because you are doing something of interest in your life, something that you love, something that touches them. And so this is one of the key pieces of advice I give to people that are looking for love. It's just live your best life, do things that you're proud of, be the best person that you can be, because then you're not bringing baggage. You're not going to be bringing anything that's heavy to that relationship. And I think so for some of you, you're on the last step of clearing, cleaning, or evolving. And once you've done that sort of energetic dusting off, then you're focusing on, you're really not really focusing on the relationship, and that detachment, ironically, is going to attract the partner. That's the law of detachment sitting in there. So that's a very cool thing if you're at that phase. If, however, you are single and happy, this is great for you too, because we have a lot of money cards this month and opportunity cards. So with the Wheel of Fortune, with the Knight of Pentacles, and also with the Three of Pentacles, what we're seeing here is more than one opportunity coming through because of who you are or what you do. Again, attractive energy. So you can always use the attractive energy for any purpose, just engaging with good partnerships and meeting new friends. So I think it's a really good month for either deepening, repairing, or creating relationships. Not a lot that's bad here. So when we look at hopes, fears, and opportunity, I see this as a malleable card because it could kind of go in any direction. So I'm going to try to help all of you, since this has multiple meanings here. We have a card here that shows you holding back a little bit. The Four of Pentacles on its highest level can be a foundational card. This is sort of like you laying down all the four corners of something and deciding, this is what I want to do. I may not have all of the elements in place just yet, and I may be a little bit unsure if this is going to work, but I'm going to take the step. I'm going to start to lay everything down and hope that I can build upon it. So at the very least, I can see foundational work starting to happen. For some of you, though, there is a tendency or a warning here to not pull too much into your heart space and think, I'm not sure, I'm afraid, and people won't get me, they won't understand me. One thing that I found in my life is when I am my most honest, vulnerable, and transparent, that's usually when I'm my most attractive or most easy to connect with. And I mentioned celebrities earlier, I'll mention them now. Think of when some celebrity's going through a moment, whether it's a really great one or a really bad moment. One of the first things they usually do is go on a talk show and they talk about their experience. And if they do it in the right way, it's usually a way for people to connect with them more. It opens up empathy. And it's because for that moment in time, we see maybe they're struggling with cancer or bankruptcy or a breakup or all the real life things that we go through. And in that moment, we can almost touch them a little bit easier. It's like a star coming down and we can hold it in our hand for a moment. So if you can kind of think of yourself in that energy, like when I open up a little bit, people see me. So of course you want to be picky. You're not going to just be an open book to a random stranger on the street. But when you're really ready to go to the next level with someone, showing them your true colors, if they're there for you, that's one of the best things you can do. So I think there's a moment of intimacy and deepening of relationships that can happen through that. And this is the second time I've seen it for signs this month. This moment of, it's a little bit lighter in your particular sign, but I saw another sign this month where a partner needed to show something vulnerable. So if your partner's doing that, if your friend is doing that, if a coworker is, wherever it is in your sort of sphere of influences, I would just say, be supportive. It took a lot for that person to say their story. Who are we to judge? And I think all they need is an open ear, an open heart, an open mind. All right. One thing I will say with all of these is because we've got a couple of big things that are pulling at your energy. Wheel of Fortune, Knight of Pentacles, Three of Pentacles. I feel like you've got enough on your plate if you're trying to create something. I would say 3 is a crowd. I keep getting the number 3 for you. So if there's one more thing that's kind of coming through that's an opportunity, this probably is a month where you want to look at what's realistic with your calendar, with your money, and with your overall goals for yourself. Because you could pull yourself too thin. That's the other thing that I see with the Four of Pentacles, because it's not quite enough. It's not at the break-even level that I would see with like 5 or 6 of Pentacles. All right, finally, and most importantly, your sign is very, very strongly sort of influenced by the King of Swords, which is about communication, being bold, taking a stand. And I think it's one of the best cards to end on because it shows action, respect. And for some people, like if your authority was taken away or if you had doubt in the past, I feel like you exit this month with more confidence than you had going into it. And whatever was under, this was in the fear area. So what we see is this really isn't the reality. We see someone who's really strong, who has the power to make change, who people are interested in hearing their point of view. So start to think these things about you. Think to yourself, I can do this. I've thought this through. And I think that sense of confidence and knowing is going to be really, really key in just making the success happen, and also making people want to reach out to you, because this is also about that hand that we'll see in the Rider-Waite deck, where any of the aces, it's something that's coming through from the universe. So anyway, I feel like you're going to exit this month feeling pretty good about yourself. The only things I want to highlight that I think you need to be careful of is indecision or pausing too much, spreading yourself too thin, or hiding a key element about yourself, your personality, or your story that could actually allow people to relate better to you. Also, not letting people kind of clip your wings, pull you back, steal your thunder. You should be able to be yourself and shine brightly. I mentioned the idea of like binary stars in astronomy, because we see a single star in our system, but in most systems there are 2. And I think partnerships exist at their best when there's some kind of balance. So we see sun and moon here, but really it should be maybe sun and sun, where there are 2 bright energies together. And I think for you, if there are big personalities in your life, they should be able to shine as brightly as you, and vice versa. So just know that everyone gets their moment in the sun. Let's move along now to health, wealth, love, and destiny. In this expanded forecast, each of these particular windows into your month have a multifaceted view, meaning that it's not just black and white. So when we start with your health card, it's going to be your mind, your body, and your spirit. And all 3 are going to work for overall health. This card was reversed, and it says winter solstice and reflection. So whenever I see cards of like snow or ice or rain, to me, it can actually indicate a period during which we're going through a darker emotion. Sometimes you're letting go of something. Maybe someone in your life passed away, or maybe you were made redundant or let go from a job, or maybe there was something that kind of, it feels like it slipped through your hands, which could also explain why the 4 of Pentacles happened, which is clinging on for life, dear life. So what this month is allowing for you is a chance to let go and release, knowing that whatever it was that you couldn't control, that did kind of slip through, or that even you kind of felt like you didn't have your footing, because I see this reflective surface, it's almost like black ice. You can sometimes just slide without knowing it. You learn from that. And sometimes we can't control everything in our life. They come through to teach us, or again, now that you know a little bit more about the satellite of your mind, you'll start to attract higher energies so that you're not pulling in some of that stuff. But what came through was still a blessing, even if it didn't feel like it. So you need to work through some emotional tumults, some of you. It could be pain, it could be loss, it could be uncertainty or doubt. Once you do that, don't be afraid, by the way, to ask for help. Once you do that, talk to a therapist, talk to a friend, etc. Then you get back into that energy of creation, of being able to do something, and you basically get over this fear and it back into the light. So I really want you guys in that top quarter here, because everything there is good. The other stuff comes through because we have to learn something. And I say this, but it bears repetition. I feel like anytime we experience loss or disappointment, it's important to process that. And there is no limit on or right way to grieve. So if you're going through grief, it's going to happen for some people in days, months, or years, or even a decade. It depends on how close something was to you. But the sooner you can move back into realizing that that was just one thing, the sooner the universe can start to shower you with new things. But wherever you're at in that journey, honor it. Let me look at some other things here with respect to health. I would say one of the things I think you should focus on is opening up the heart space, whether it's expression, dance, music, singing, writing, or just making sure that you're stretching in yoga. Because to me, the Four of Pentacles closes down in the heart space. So for those of you with a family history of hypertension, heart disease, blood pressure, all of that stuff, you want to just make sure that you're taking care of the heart center in all ways, mind, body, and spirit. So get a checkup, eat well, and do whatever you can to open up that chakra. I'll try to work on it a little bit when we do the meditation as well. I think that summarizes health pretty well. Most of it was emotional and I would say spiritual, but that slight message around your heart health also came through. All right, now when we look at wealth, I think this is connected to what I just talked about, because I talked about going to a therapist. It said counseling is key here. You heal with kind words, wise advice, and an empathetic ear. But that also means you receive healing through these things as well. So know that one of the things that can really help you this month is by reaching out and saying, I need your help, or I need your advice, or can I count on you? That's that moment of vulnerability that we were talking about too. If there's this thing where you need to feel safe and you want someone to be in your corner, it's the same reason I have a couple of moderators here. It lets me do my job so that I can focus on giving you what you need, and then they can take care of you while I'm talking as well. We all need somebody in our life to help out. This is in your finance sector. So what it could be is deciding to shift your investments, talk to somebody new, make sure that whoever you're working with your finances really knows what's going on, and to only do something that feels right to yourself. So, I mean, counseling is part of it, but I always think your own decision is what matters most. We have the King of Swords in the outcome, and I think that you only move forward when you're ready to, when it comes to your money. Some of you may decide to use the experiences you've had to help other people from avoiding pitfalls or to be more successful. So things with money look pretty good. I'm going to say again, your work, your voice, whatever it is that you're creating, that's the attractive force this month. So make sure that that doesn't get watered down, that someone doesn't try to take that away from you. And for those of you that are artists in particular, this happens all the time, right? A manager, an agent, a producer, they step in and they're like, well, what if we do this? In our everyday lives, it can be a boss, a mother, a coworker. And sometimes for ourselves, it can just be going too far down the rabbit hole of self-doubt. So don't do that. The first thing that you get, that core idea, is the true expression of yourself. I was telling another sign, this is one of the reasons I'm going to self-publish my book, because it was just too hard to find people that were in energetic alignment, because a lot of them are just looking at dollars and money and things like that. So when you have an idea, when you have a message, go for the higher or highest energy possible. All right, let's move along now to love. Love is not just what's going on with your romantic relationships or partner relationships. To me, love is everything. It's how you're treating yourself. It's how you feel about yourself. It's how you react to situations around you. It's a currency, and it flows freely in the universe. What this is saying is, if you really love yourself, if you're in that place of ease, then what I saw here with those of you that are meeting somebody new, there's a really good chance that this could be something substantial. So new best friend, a new partner, a new lover. This is a chance for love. February, well, I guess it's really a good time since we have Valentine's Day and whatnot. It's kind of a, to me, that's a constructed holiday, but it's a good month to talk about love. And so we'll focus on that maybe too in the meditation. I'm going to write that down, the heart space and love as well, because I know some of you might want to focus on that. But yeah, I believe that with this, be guided. Notice that we also have 3 angels up here, 3 little cherubs. I really think it's important if you are looking to get out, to go to parties, to go to engagements. I keep seeing 3s, 3s, 3s. So I think it's important you can't be alone. It's more than one. It's someone that's going to help make that connection for you. Now, if you are single, or if you are focusing more on business, with this card, I would say it's more about the people that you're pulling into your life. And I think that you could really find some people that do get you. I was just talking about having some difficulties in some things that I was looking at. I think that for all of us, February could be a better month for finding the right kind of individuals. So just put that expectation out into the universe. I'm ready for change. I'm ready for someone with a higher frequency way of doing business, an open heart, and I'll keep my mind open when I meet them and just see what the universe brings to you then. Most importantly, as we look at destiny, is to release fear. This is the antithesis of the Two of Swords. Go forward fearlessly. And the bottom part is just a prayer that basically says the same thing in more words. So basically release fear and trust yourself. And you notice that Archangel Michael is really focusing on his heart center right there. He's taking the energy here and just saying, this is what I love. This is who I am. If I do everything with love, then that love is going to be a connective thread and really bring people into my life. So some beautiful messages. You had a very kind, loving sort of thread of energy that came through. There's a little bit of fear, a little bit of doubt, a lot of change, but some exciting stuff and some great people coming through as well. Let's go ahead and summarize all of this, and then I'll get into the manifestation portion and the meditation surrounding that. So give me a second here as I get everything organized, and we're going to go quickly through this and then get into the next phase. All right. So as I mentioned earlier, it's a breakthrough month, and that breakthrough could come in a way that's unexpected, knowing also that the energy of being sort of taking people by surprise or doing something unexpected could also be part of that breakthrough if you're trying to do something key in business that people didn't know that was coming along, etc. I mentioned many, many times that celebrations, announcements, parties, they're going to be important for you to attend and support people, because some of these new people coming into your life could actually be showing up there. It's the old school way of meeting, not necessarily swiping in a direction on an app, which is it's not fun for any of us actually. All right, so totality. With this card, there's that moment, I'll bring it really close again, of making contact. And you're going to have a chance this month. Don't let it slip through your hands. That's the main message with that. You're going through a new period of growth and abundance. Be open to that. Even if the past felt like it was giving you sort of a raw deal, some of that was self-manifested. Some of it was there as a divine blessing and a lesson. So it came through, but it's definitely not the definitive force here. So the past is the past. Again, timing matters. Don't hesitate this month. There is a chance to go in a new direction, one that could involve a move, a new relationship, definitely a change. So this isn't a month where things just sort of stay stagnant for you. We didn't get anything that shows stagnancy. It's all movement. Power dynamics are key. Giving up power to people that don't deserve it, that needs to stop. Helping people who don't want it, that also needs to stop. Instead, what you want to do is focus on the fact that you are the queen, that you're able to make some decisions, do things on your own, be fertile this month, and anything that you touch, it's like the Midas touch. So this is really good. It shows that you have the chance this time to kind of turn everything around. It does involve walking away from something. It could be something that you felt really close to. This card here, the Four of Pentacles, reminds me of a little kid with a blanket sometimes. So that security blanket has to go. It's kind of like you've grown up now. You're going to put that in the closet. It's there if you need it, but you know on some levels you don't. And it's better to step away from that. People are coming into your life this month, good people. We see the Lovers card here. For some of you, it could be a colleague. For some of you, it could be a lover. For some of you, there might be a work romance happening too, and that's something you want to be careful of, because that can also be what we're concealing here. But either way, I still like the energy of the Lovers, and overall, your energy is very attractive this month. And by that, I mean it's bringing in things that are going to bring abundance. That's why we have the Three Pentacles above it. Keep your voice, keep your vision. Know that your work is what attracts people to you. Don't be afraid to be vulnerable when it's appropriate. Speak your mind, make a decision, be decisive. You can't exit this month on doubt. King of Swords is one of the most stout, sort of like respectable cards you have here. So trust yourself, respect yourself, and you'll get respect in turn. It's okay to be grieving. It's okay to have difficulty in your life. Ask for help. Do the work and move through the process, and know that at the end you're going to be okay, but you have to ask for help. And we actually have that right above it with the counseling card. So for some of you, the counseling could be more about emotional stress. And then once you're in your better state of mind, you're able to access the higher energy that we saw there. For others, you might decide to give advice or change whoever you're receiving advice from, whatever it is this month. Listen to your inner voice. That's really what I see with this. It's not going to lead you astray. again, I feel like there's a really good mentor that's coming into your life or a lover that's coming into your life. You'll know it. You're going to be able to sense it in the heart space, as we see with Archangel Michael. So if it feels good, move forward in that direction and let fear be something that was in 2019. 2020 doesn't have room for fear. All right, let's go ahead now and go to the guided meditation. Actually, no, there's one more thing. We have to pull the cards here first. So with this, we're going to look at past, present, and future influences that will be either helping or hindering your manifestation. So let's look at the past right now and see what you're bringing into this month with respect to manifesting love or work success, because we see that, or an opportunity. Those seem to be the main things that are coming through for you. Okay, so we have the Page of Swords. For me, pages can be just as much about giving some sort of feedback or delivering a message as they are receiving it. And I feel some of you may have blocked your receptor or your sort of like your satellites. They went down a little bit. And so I think the main thing right now is to reconstruct it, get a bigger satellite, and think to yourself, I'm now ready to receive abundance in all forms, in love, in money, in opportunity, in personal growth. I am in the mode of receiving, and I'm going to write that down as well, because I think that's one thing that we can definitely put into the meditation. So open up that satellite, get ready to receive. It was coming through, but you were pointed in the wrong direction. To kind of, I think everybody's seen like a direct TV satellite. If you have to put it in a certain direction or it doesn't receive, it's the same thing here. So you were pointed in the wrong direction. We're going to realign you. All right, so let's look at what's coming through now that's going to help you manifest better. It's you. So we have the Strength card, and we have the Lion, and this is you. And this is the other Divine Feminine card. So what we're seeing here is, two people that aren't communicating, and two people that are kind of like struggling with power dynamics. And I would say one thing I really want you to do is own your power, own your strength. And I actually like that the Strength card is reversed on some levels, because normally you'll see this person trying to pry open the mouth of the lion, right? And you don't have to force things anymore. The sort of expectation for 2020 could be, let the universe bring me in the right direction, let it come to me. I'll do the work. That's part of manifesting. But I'm not going to force somebody to love me, to hear me, to do anything, because I'm pushing against a wall that doesn't need to, like, I could just go in this direction. There's something better. So acknowledging where your energy should be spent, and then using the newfound strength, bringing it back and putting it inward, and deciding I'm going to develop myself. Because the Empress and the Strength card, the Queen, and one of the strongest Divine Feminine cards, you want to put that energy into nurturing something that you care about. All right, let's look at the future state for manifesting. And it is the card that is quintessential for manifesting. The High Priestess, she is the one that can see, that can do, and that uses that I am sort of technique that we mentioned. What's so powerful about the High Priestess is, as we see here, she has the vision, but she also knows how to, she believes she can do it. So she sees the possibility, and then she sees the blueprint. And so it's a combination of knowing and doing and just trusting. And I think that faith is going to be really important. Listen to yourself, see it. And really, when you're in that state of knowing that you can do it, I want you to imagine how good it feels to finally be there. Like you've almost come home. And maybe for some of you, that's what this is, a homecoming, getting back to what you really wanted to do. When we're little kids, we know our parents sometimes tell us differently. Society tells us differently. So some of you might be finding that inner child and going back to what you always wanted to do. And now through adulthood, you have the know-how and the means with which to make it happen. So pretty exciting stuff, actually. It's a good year for manifesting for you. All right, let's now meditate. If you can join me for this part, it's powerful, and I'd love for you to stick around. If not, you can watch this on the replay. And even if you are joining and you want to repeat it, it's definitely great to do that as well. All right, so please get into a comfortable position and close your eyes. And I always like to kind of let go of what you're holding on to before we get into this manifestation. So, or this meditation for that. So if you're holding on to any stress in your shoulders, I mention that now because the 10 of Wands has to do with the sort of figurative or literal load that you might be carrying. It's time to let that go. By the way, that's one health note too, is to try not to take on too much stress, whether it's mental or actual sort of stress on the back. So let's kind of give our back and our neck and that part of our body some love. Take your shoulders, roll them up towards your ears, let them go. Take a nice deep breath and just think in this moment, all the weight that's on your shoulders is going to go away. Think of yourself as being light as a feather. Close your eyes and relax. If you want to, you can take your neck for a second and rotate it gently, very slowly. And as you're doing that, imagine that you are taking those old thoughts, those old ways of being, and reprogramming. You're releasing it like a yarn, the tension's going away. Switch directions if you haven't already. And just feel that you are gently letting go. Those things no longer suit you. The fear of moving forward, the fear of sharing who you are, all of those things are going away. And now just allow yourself to be calm and just listen to the sound of my voice. And in this meditation, I want you to focus on your heart space. There was a card that I showed you earlier with Archangel Michael, and we saw the beautiful light right around his heart. So I want you to start to feel, actually, we'll take our hands. I've been doing this month, and it feels good. Take your left hand, put it on top of your heart, your right hand on top of that. Just feel your heartbeat for a second. With those beautiful cards of power, the Empress and the Strength card, sometimes we forget about how strong our body is, how capable it is of bringing us through every moment. Feel each heartbeat that your heart is making and taking, and imagine that this beautiful golden light, since I'm looking at that in the Archangel Michael card, is starting to pump through your body, the color of God, the color of divinity, the color of heaven. See that energy starting to come through your body, and realize that many of you actually are earth angels, or you're an ascended being that kind of decided to come back on this planet and learn again. And I want you to connect with your divinity, with that star self that's always been there. And realize, I say this often, and it's something we need to hear, we are constituted from the remains of a star. We have the energy to glow within. So within your heart, ignite the fire of the star that you once were, that you still are, and that you'll always be, that eternal energy, the soul that burns now and forever. And see that light, see that candle within you starting to grow. Let your hands go. You can kind of hold them up towards the sky if you'd like, or put them in your lap. But if you hold them up towards the sky, I think this could be good for a moment, because this is going to open up your inner receptor, your satellite. And as you're doing this, I want you to say, I am now ready to receive blessings in all forms, in love, in enlightenment, in opportunities, in money, and all the divine blessings that you've been wanting me to see and receive, but I've been unable or unwilling to. I'm going to release the doubt that once existed within my heart, within my mind, and replace it with this beautiful, eternal fire and flame that is part of my soul. And let your hands go. Just relax them, put them in your lap. You can kind of keep them cupped towards the sky, and just take a nice deep breath and allow for that light to come in. On the exhale, let go of fear, doubt, and uncertainty. Release all of the connections from the past that have been holding you back, whether it's a mother or a lover or a parent or a boss, whoever it was. They don't hold space. They don't hold dominion. You are not beholden to their energy. Hear the sound of that glass breaking as you break through any of those old karmic ties, and hear that as a celebratory sound. Imagine now that you can hear the frequency that you would hear if you took your finger and put it across the top of another glass. Find your internal vibration, that high frequency that's going to be the attractive force. See yourself as a magnet, pulling in those things that you were open to receiving. And it's important for you to sort of think of these three things. First of all, that you love who you are. And if you can't yet, keep playing this meditation until you can say, I love myself, flaws and all. I designed this, God designed this. This is part of the cosmic plan for me. And I am okay with who I am. I love myself. And then think, I'm ready to be loved by others. I'm not going to hold back who I am, what I do, what my voice is. they will love me for who I am as well. And now finally, just open up that heart space and show your light, show your colors, whatever colors they are. Imagine the entire rainbow if you just want to be open to everything. And see that rainbow reaching out, touching the world, touching your projects, making a difference, making an impact. And see somebody or something connecting with that as well, bringing you to the next opportunity, because I do see 1 or 2 people coming in that are going to allow you to be able to make the change that you need. And I'm going to try to do this with as many signs as I remember, but let's do a little healing meditation for the planet right now. There's a lot of parts of the world that need it. Australia is among them, but there are other places as well in need. So take that rainbow energy that we just connected to and shine it on those areas in particular, so that anyone that's experiencing loss, experiencing need, feels hopeless, they get a little bit of our love, a little bit of our light showered upon them. And say a prayer for the earth itself. Wrap your arms around it. Send your heart space energy into the heart of the planet, and know that you'll actually receive a healing as well from Mother Earth. And we're going to end on that grounding thought. So take one last deep breath and open your eyes. Welcome back, everyone. It's good to see you again. I want to say thank you so much. I see that many of you were very, very kind with all the super chats. I'm going to take a moment. Apollo woke up from the meditation as well. I'll take a moment at the end, and like I said, I'll call that out in the comments. But I just want to say thank you. That really means a lot to me, and I appreciate you giving back. I'd like to also take a moment just to talk about how you can get involved if you want to follow me on social media, or if Super Chat's not your thing, there's other things you can do. So let me pull a few old school cards up here so you can see everything. I feel like these visual devices help. Back when I used to do the videos in editing software, I could throw up a graphic. I can't do it now. So I have the same username on Facebook, Patreon, and of course YouTube. So if you know it here, you know it there. You can follow me at my name. Thank you so much, by the way, for that super chat. Anyway, this is a great way to keep in touch. If you follow me on Facebook and also on Instagram, I put stories up, which will remind you of when you can tune in, because I know that I have a lot of different, like I'm live for 2 weeks of the month, and it can be hard to keep track of when I'm live. So I put stories up, it'll help you. And on my official Facebook page, there'll also be a click through. Just remember to follow the official one, which is just my full name. I have a personal one, but I don't check the messages there, and that's not the one to do. So it's Nicholas Ashbaugh. You can also follow me on Twitter. I will tweet out all the live times, all the new videos, anything newsworthy, and it's Ashbaugh. And for those of you that prefer doing something old school, there's a PayPal link. I believe that the moderators have put that out there as well. It's just paypal.me, and then it's my name, Nicholas Ashbaugh. When in doubt, follow the link below the video or embedded within it. And to that end, I actually have 3 links within the video that will appear on the replay. That'll be how to book an appointment, how to become a patron, how to follow me on social media. I usually will throw in a couple extras like the manifestation video and probably my newsletter. And all of this information can be found on my website, which is nicholasashbaugh.com. So I just want to say thank you so much. It's been an honor to be able to bring this energy to you live, and many of you have been really, really supportive with the format change. This is the way I'm going to do it moving forward, because it allows me to connect with all of you, and particularly for the meditation and just the ability to get this out early. Live is so much better for that. So I hope you've enjoyed it, and I just want to thank all of you for being present. So take care of yourselves. Much love and light. And I will again thank all of you later when I have a chance for all of the super chats, but I see there's a few here lingering because you were so kind and so generous. I just want to say thank you for that. All right. Take care of yourselves. Hopefully you enjoyed this, and we'll see you very soon. Okay.